Hi, welcome to SBR Videos. I'm Peter Loshak. It's Week 8 in the NFL, and this is our regular Top Dogs and False Favorites segment that we do with SBR contributor Doug Upstone. Doug Upstone, thanks for being back with us. What is your first false favorite or top underdog for NFL Week 8?
Well, we're going to jump right in, Peter, and our first false favorite is going to be Kansas City is not good enough to take down Detroit against the spread. Now, one of the first casualties for the Detroit was losing a number of their coaches, which tells you how desperate that they were because they decided to do it the week that they're flying to London when they have a bye week the following week. So they really want to make changes, and they want to make them quick. In this case, this helped raise Kansas City from -3.5 to either -5 or -6, depending on your sports book. Now, while I understand Detroit is a bigger mess than a plate of chili cheese fries, the Chiefs are one game better than than Detroit in the standings, having beat a Pittsburgh team that was using a starting quarterback that had never taken a opening game snap, and they were also backed with a 3-0 turnover margin. Now, for my money, when I look at this, I think the opening line at -3.5 was actually correct, and then I find teams like Kansas City, after allowing 17 or more or fewer points in 2 straight games against an opponent who's allowed 25 or more in consecutive games, are just 15 and 41 against the spread the last decade. I'll take the points with Detroit and consider Kansas City a false favorite.
Yep, that's what I was thinking when I first saw this line. It was a little bit concerning to me that I didn't quite understand why the line was where it was, but I felt the exact same way about the London game last week with Jacksonville and Buffalo. I was all over Jacksonville. That one wound up cashing, and I agree with you. I feel the same way about Detroit this week. What is your second false favorite or top dog for us in NFL Week 8, Doug?
My second pick is a top dog, and I'm going to go with Tampa Bay to rebound after a deflating loss. Now, about the only good thing that came out of their unbelievable way that they blew a 24-0 lead at Washington is that they actually covered the spread. Now, unless Tampa Bay pulls a Texans trick like last week and doesn't show up, I think at +7 they offer some value. Now, I understand, Peter, that the defense is allowing 29.8 points per game, but that's a little bit false because of some of the other plays that have occurred, and their defense actually ranks 6th in total defense and 8th in yards per play allowed. So as long as they're not put in bad situations, I think that they have a chance. Also, the Bucs are 7-0 against the spread in away games after 2 straight games in which 50 or more total points were scored. Now let's take a look at Atlanta. Atlanta got off to a quick start, but now is on an 0-3 against the spread bender. They're averaging just 18.6 points a game, and they've committed 8 turnovers in this stretch. Follow that up with the Falcons being a horrendous 6-25 against the spread after gaining 375 yards or more in consecutive games. I'll take the points and consider the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a top choice as a top dog.
Yeah, I certainly understand your reasoning. I'm a little bit concerned about maybe some sort of like deflating, letdown from Tampa Bay. I'm also thinking about maybe a shot with the under. Tampa Bay is probably going to try to limit possessions and use their effective running game. I think I'd lean towards the under. I certainly don't disagree with your analysis. All right, so Doug, what is your third false favorite or top underdog for us for NFL Week 8?
My third pick is a false favorite, and I'm going against St. Louis for a second week in a row. Maybe I'm just going to be stubborn, but that's what I'm going to do. Now, the Rams last week, they won by 18 against Cleveland, okay? But a big part of that was attributed to the fact that Cleveland had 4 turnovers, and of those turnovers, 17 points were because of those of the 24 that they actually scored, and Cleveland had 4 specific penalties, which cost them 89 yards of offense, and which would have given them 2 opportunities to be in scoring position, which I, quite frankly, would have thought they would have taken advantage of. Now, I'm not here to say that San Francisco is a good team. They're not. They're a terrible team. But they have had a few moments. They got 3 covers, one against Minnesota, one against the Giants, and one against Baltimore, and the G-men and the Ravens rank in the bottom half of pass defense allowed, which is what St. Louis does in the NFL. So because there is not, in my opinion, a wide chasm in terms of the talent between these two teams, I think St. Louis at -9 is a really big number. And this year, Peter, so far, home teams that are favored by 7.5 or more are 4-8 against the spread. Too many points on the Rams. I'll take the 49ers.
All right, this one's still going to be a pass for me. I certainly, can see your argument with such a big spread, considering the low-scoring game that we are probably going to see here with strong running games and strong defenses. Doug Upstone, interesting picks for NFL Week 8. We will talk to you again next week for Week 9.
Thank you, Peter.